there, YouTube. We're doing a stream where I'm playing Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura's openings with white and black. It's going to be really fun because Nakamura has the highest ever rating on chess.com and also in the past on the Internet Chess Club. So let's go live. Let's start the stream and you're going to learn how exactly to win with his openings white and black. You see, I've been studying Hikaru Nakamura's openings quite a lot in the last couple of days with white and black, finding the systems he is the most successful with. And now that we are live, hello there Facebook. Remember guys that if you want to comment on this stream, you do need to be a follower. I've included the link in the description below in order to follow my stream. I'd follow my gaming page so that you can comment on my stream. With that being said, I am now super keen to play some unrated blitz on chess.com. And as you can see from the task stream, I will be playing Hikaru Nakamura's openings with white and with black. So after c6, we see that this is just very nice for white. He's not able to attack my queen, well, except this way, but then just get a very nice position. Actually, for this stream, because I'm starting a little bit later than scheduled, what I might do is I do want to keep my voice for some other projects. So I think I'm going to try talking a little bit less in this stream and just focusing on the games a little bit more. But yeah, that's basically the introduction to, well, you can basically comment by following the stream, and also you can support the stream by donating studs. Those are the main things to share. And of course, if you are not sure how to follow my page, just click on the link in the description for my gaming page, and then once you do that, just click follow, or even better, you can actually just click follow in the page, and that will allow you to comment. Sound good? Alright, so basically hardly anybody is watching it at this point, at least not watching it live. Maybe just have started a little bit before schedule. We have Christian Mendoza, shout out. Yeah, I will speak to read you guys' comments, but other than that, I might just be relatively quiet this stream. But yeah, thanks for the shout out. And, I'm up a piece now, I'm winning a second piece. There's really nothing much to talk about here, in all fairness. And it's 94, knight f6, and his king is dead. I had mate in 1 because he blundered. Oh well. Okay, so yeah, on the Elite League, there's basically 1 day left of the Elite League that I'm in, but I'm only in 7th place, as you can see here. And first place is on 4,100 or 4,400 trophies, I forget. But yeah, basically that's the score I'm trying to beat, where that's me. I'm just going to play a ton of chess today, and that's another reason why I am trying to keep my voice, because I'm intending to do quite a few streams beyond this one. This one I'll be finishing at about, what, I'll be finishing on about 2 hours, let's say. Or a bit less than 2 hours, technically. But yeah, basically that's the idea, that I'll just be streaming a whole lot. And yeah, we'll see how things go from there. But if I can get in the top 3 so I can make the Champions League and then try to qualify for the Legends League by winning that. Oh, let's just castle. That's why we are here. 92. I think Nakamura normally goes c5 in these kind of positions. Because otherwise if white goes c5 and gets an attack on the queen side, that's a little bit annoying. And this I'm kind of happy to see. I can go d5 and push in the center. I've been playing so badly in the last days, that's why I'm thinking maybe I should try a different approach where I can try to focus more on the actual games, and maybe I can regain some confidence. Because yesterday, I made this decision to play in this tournament, and I sort of had this gut feeling that I shouldn't play it, because I had a 2 fake for a long time before it, but my 2 fake kind of went away before the event. And I thought, okay, I played so much chess, I just played, and yeah, there was nothing wrong with the tournament itself, just my decision to play it was a very, very bad one. Because I played the worst chess in my life, and I can't remember, realize I should probably never actually come out of retirement, because if I do, I'm just going to lose probably 200 or more rating points on the tournament I play, and just be kicking myself why did I ever come back? It's kind of like with Kasparov, he decided to play some tournament earlier this year. I think it was St. Louis Champions Rapid Blitz. In the Blitz, he scored some really bad scores, something like 1.5 out of 9. at the start of just like these sort of things, it's when you make these kind of have these bad performances long after you like when you keep playing when you shouldn't, it just kind of it's just like not nice at all. Like because then you think, well, why am I like bothering to play and why am I playing so stupid? And then you also have to like all the internet trolls saying, oh, you're such a terrible player. Like a 2-100 would have done as well as you and all this kind of rubbish. So yeah. So I guess at least I learned that's an easy way. At least I didn't, blunder to like an audience of thousands and thousands of people the way that Kasparov did, of the whole world watching. Okay, so I actually won this game quickly despite... I mean, I did kind of blunder the exchange, but it was also kind of like a sacrifice. It was like a blunder that I didn't see that he could take on F8, but I actually had very good compensation because I just go E4 and it's very hard to deal with center. So it's one of these cases was like kind of a blunder that actually was a genius move unintentionally. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, quite a nice win with the modern, and this is basically the way that Nakamura likes to play. He likes to play 1E4 followed by knight C3 a lot as white, though he does play a lot of other things, and he played B3 a lot in the past as well on move 1, but like E4, knight C3 is kind of his go-to system, if anything. And with black, he mostly plays like 1G6 and moderns against everything. So that's why I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing here. Kind of hoping that we get a big spike in viewers about 4, because that's when the stream was scheduled to start, but I decided to start a little bit early because I want to get a bit of a head start on this league. The thing is, playing it this time, like, it takes a very long time to get an opponent because like most of the Americans are asleep and most of the people on this server are, after all, from USA. Will he go D4 or just playing random stuff? Okay. I can play the Tigger's modern stuff anyway, like knight D7, bishop B7, and C5. But bishop E5 is weird, because I kind of want to go E6 anyway to sort of kill his bishop. And now just give me 2 tempi completely for free. I mean, I can even switch to a Sicilian, where his position is not the most logical. So I go knight F6, I don't want to let him get in D4 so easily. That's my thinking. Bishop B7. And, I mean, black is just somewhat better, which is not really a big surprise considering I gained 2 tempi completely for free out of the opening. I notice how I'm not rushing to take him because then it helps his queen get active, whereas by playing it this way, I sort of keep the tension and don't let him sort of take the initiative as easily. Although he can go bishop F4 and set up some tricks like this, so maybe I should have gone knight D7 for that reason to avoid that, because now I might actually have to move my queen again. Which, I mean, he has lost a couple of tempi, so it's not the end of the world, but still a tiny bit precise from me, I think. Let's see, let's go rook D8, just attack the pawn. Kind of funny just when I say like I'm not going to speak at all in this stream, so I'm talking a ton. It's just out of habit, So anyway, let's go here. Let's actually focus a bit more, because some of my previous moves were not the best. But 6, okay. He's letting me double the pawns, that's weird. Just rook C8. It's an easy position to play. I'll trade. I nearly mouse slipped a blunder there. I made so many mouse slips like last day, like another thing, like you make a dumb mouse slip and it time just throws you off for ages. At least that seems to be what happened to me lately. So this is going to be the general plan. Or if I just take his queen and he resigns. Okay, let's see if he wants to play again. He does. Excuse me. So yeah, this is the way Nakamura likes to play. Because I used to play a lot of F4s, but yeah, for some reason I keep getting this C6 approach a lot lately, and I think Nakamura only goes knight to F3, but this kind of works out in the end. Queen H4, King F1, and again I'll just get the pawn back, and white is just much better. Yeah, the way Nakamura plays like knight F3 or knight E2 and F4, yeah, this is kind of weird. My opponent is playing one move attacks with no real understanding of the position, and now again it's another tempo on the queen. Though here he can play queen E3, but I mean, if I just retreat the bishop, it's not really obvious what he has achieved from all these queen moves. He's just helping me get my pieces to better squares, and yeah, this is going to quickly end resistance, I think. Yeah, he forgot that en passant is legal. I don't even care about knight E3. I probably like bishop F7, knight E5, and I just win. At least that was my theory. mean, it's nothing like King's Gambit type ideas that you just get this very easy attack down the F file in a lot of positions. Okay, this is slightly annoying. Maybe because you always have like Queen H5 this. I slightly screwed this up, so I might have to revert back to just playing it normally, like Queen D3 and just stop his threats. C3. I have a pawn up, which is definitely making things a lot easier for me. If I had the pawn on D6 position, would be only slightly better for me, I think. But now it's giving me this, and pin's just completely crushing. Yeah, also, I mean, after this stream, I really should completely redo the schedule. I mean, part of my plan's going to be, like, do some really long streams from Monday until Thursday. And then on, like, Friday, Sunday, it'll be short streams, because I actually have a online seminar I'm actually attending on those days. So that's why my stream will be a lot shorter on those days. Just FYI. And Queen D3, unless he blunders the queen. Or maybe it's a rage quit sacrifice at this point, I don't know. But we threatened some mate on H7, H5. I mean, at this point you feel like Rook F7 has just got to be crushing, right? Just flooding those pieces in the attack with a tempo. And Queen and Knight, just very strong attacking combination in against an open king, like we see here. I mean, this is just force mate at this point. Yeah, I can do it a lot of ways, but I'll do it like this. Let's do it the Grandmasterly style and bring all of the pieces in attack, as that's what you're supposed to do when you're attacking. Make sure every one of the pieces is attacking. Unless, of course, you're just mating them really fast, but that happens quite rarely, unless they defend very badly. Because you wouldn't think that like E4, G6 is a system you can win a lot of games quickly with, but because it gets the opponent often out of book by like move 2 or move 3, often it can actually win really fast because just making moves on their own rather than relying on some sort of known setup. So yeah, I think you meant to go C5 is what I prepared, but this is fine as well. Just E5, knight E7, castle seems solid enough. And I mean, the only thing that would really bother me is like knight G5, F4, but he's not really going for this, so I'm just going to play like basically the Nakamura style approach, but I'm kind of doing it with colors reversed actually. Although I think the way Nakamura plays it is normally with the bishop on C5, but because I'm playing with the black piece, I adapted a little bit, and okay, the guy just blundered a piece to the fork. So that makes life very easy for me. Let's push. Because one thing I actually noticed actually with Nakamura's streams, like he has over 1 million followers, but the thing is he actually doesn't analyze the games much when he talks. He like kind of just mainly responds to comments, which of course he has a lot of due to having so many followers and people watching the stream. And yeah, when he actually determines the game, he doesn't actually analyze it so much because he says, okay, I can go here or I can go there sort of thing. So maybe I should try to do some of the same, talk less, more. I can go here, do a little pin. Because he actually took away this square from the knight to defend the queen. Not that it matters too much because he's down a piece anyway. Does have the queen e2 and yeah, he's hitting this. So I just bring all my pieces into the game once again. I mean, d1 and a2 and a4 not or any... None of these really great squares for knight because they're all on the edge of the board, where knight has a lot less mobility. I'm just going to focus down this pawn. Oh, I nearly blundered rook takes e7. So I might play bishop c5 and just defend it first and prepare the bishop retreat to hit the queen and go after the soft underbelly on f2 like this. Because now here I can take and I keep this defended. I know someone out had a laugh emoji for the option to send me stars, and yeah, I have no idea why that's funny, but okay, I guess your sense of humor is different to mine. It's cool. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is force mate in some way. Yeah, I just take and take. So I can even do multiple pre-moves in a row. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's do another game. By the way, you can challenge me. If you want to challenge me, just go to players, go to top players, find my name like in the bullet list and challenge me to a game. Of course, you'll only be able to challenge me when I stop playing, but you can keep an eye out for that. I don't think I need to mollycoddle you through the whole stream, right? I think I should go c5, then knight c6. That's what I actually studied, but this is fine. We just transpose back to a normal dragon. But he has e5. That would have been slightly annoying, but luckily didn't see this 11 fish trap. And I think, does this just win material, like bishop e3, queen b2, or am I trapping my own queen there? I don't think I'm trapping, well, it's kind of close actually. Bishop e3, go knight g4. Yeah, he just kind of blundered the move order. You should go like knight b3 and then castle. Because now I just win like this, and to me, it's the sort of tactic I would think like is, you know, very like that anyone like over, let's say 1500 would see this in 1 second in Blitz, but be surprised how many players over 1500 have not seen these sort of tactics, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because I get so focused on playing the usual bishop knight 6, bishop d7, rook c8 stuff, they're not even thinking about tactics. Like, oh, it's a great opening. I can just, you know, play like random moves for the first 15 moves, place up, and then start thinking. But you play like in autopilot too much in any opening, you're going to end up in hot water at some point. I think bishop b5 is meant to be what Nakamura plays here, if I remember correctly. Bishop g4 is a little bit weird, but it's not like it's refuted or anything. But I can take and go at d3. And he's got some double pawns that I can try to do something with. Let's kick the bishop first. Get back my bishop pair, maybe go e5. Just try to isolate these pawns as weaknesses. This is the reason why e5 is such a good move here. Let's take, go knight e4 or something. And we could go c4, bishop e3, and just pile the pressure against this very weak pawn on c5. I mean, it's not like I'm winning it by force, but I can force his pieces to adopt somewhat passive positions in order to avoid that. But knight e4 is a move I didn't really consider at this point. Because you can go like knight t2, knight d4, which is kind of annoying, in fact. So maybe if rook b1, he takes this guy. Okay, in that case, maybe I should just go b3 and put the bishop on b2, perhaps. He can still do his thing, but at least I can, you know, play like this and... I mean, it's not trying to get the hang of the Grand Prix, because I've been playing a bunch of games, but it's not been one of the better openings, to be honest. Like, I've been having some bad games with it lately, so maybe I need to study it more deeply, or maybe it just suits Nakamura's style a lot better than mine. I'm not sure. One idea I do have is I can play b4 and try to deflect his pawn away from the defense of the knight. That could be an idea. Okay, so I have some very, very exciting news for you guys. We have just equaled the record of 2 viewers for this game. Incredible, absolutely earth-shattering numbers. All those world-class streamers are quaking in their boots at these 2 viewers watching right now. I have to be careful with this sarcasm. Like, I'm too sarcastic, it might rub too many people the wrong way and lose some viewers. But whatever, I kind of... Honestly, today I don't even care about, like, the viewers. I mean, there are so many things that kind of went wrong in this week in terms of trying to, like, schedule streams, like, do streams, just having, like, all these technical problems that were just stopping me from being able to stream that... At this point, just being able to do a stream with 0 technical problems, I'm just already just kind of relieved that nothing has gone insanely wrong at this point. Well, at least in terms of stream. In terms of position, it's another story. This is now quite fine for black with a strong knight here. It's not like I have any advantage. Not that you're really playing for an advantage with a Grand Prix, but I might end up like modifying this repertoire maybe to suit my own style. Like maybe, for example, like I might play like d6, d4, knight c6, bishop b5, and maybe still play knight c3, but kind of play it a bit more my own way rather than just copying what Nakamura does in every single line. Now this position, he wants to go g5, maybe I go g3, just overprotect the pawn, because maybe in some positions I want to take d4. Like, now actually seems like a good time. Maybe I should have taken with the knight rather than the bishop. So up cd4, I mean I get knight e5, but I don't know if my knight really does anything on e5 realistically. But up bishop e5 now I'm happy, because I get a lot of pressure against this pawn on e6, which is a backward pawn. Rook d6 is giving me rook f5, and I win a pawn like that. Because of the pin. I thought he'd go king f7 for some reason, but okay, let's... I was thinking rook e5 with king f7, but now I think I like queen e2 better. just to completely dominate this open file and maybe keep some options open, because my rook is kind of keeping his king a bit tied up. And yeah, rook g6 is basically a one-move threat, not more than that, from what I can see here. Queen c6, I mean, if I go like queen e5, he's going to play queen f3 and have some counterplay, and I do want to make some sort of quick move, so rook e5 it is. Maybe h or h5 can be a plan to kick his rook away. Does give him rook g4 though, but let's go h4. It does seem like a good controlling move here. a4 I don't think is really a threat at this point. I just trade. Queen b6 is his idea. Okay, but he's not actually really threatening anything, so I think I can just play king h3. Because if it takes, I just go rook c5, and it still helps me to build some battery like this, which would be winning for me if I get this far. And now I'm just one move away. He can go queen b1, but I just go king h2 and... but hang on. Did I just blunder the game away? I think I avoid perpetual, but man, that was a really stupid mistake. I think I have to go like rook to e8 or something. But yeah, I just completely lost the advantage because I'm missing this geometry. But he didn't go queen f1 take my pawn, which is weird. But yeah, this game, like I played extremely badly, but it still looks like I'll win it anyway. Like, lately I just get very annoyed at myself when I play. Like, a lot of the games I play lately just like me saying like, how stupid can I be? It seems like my most common phrase lately. But if I talk less, I guess I'll say that less often. And I might win more games as well. The game took way too long. Let's find a new opponent. He said, hello from Philippines. Yeah, hey there. Welcome to the stream. And I wait for my next opponent. Don't know this idea. Like, I think it would be very interesting to like maybe do a course on Nakamura's over white or black. This is like my current idea, which yeah, well, I feel like it would be very popular, but you know, I guess I won't know for sure until I actually create it. But like against these fianchetto systems, Nakamura has this really cool setup where you just play queen c8, bishop h3, h5, h4, and you just attack them. And it's not that easy for him to deal with, especially in a blitz game. So I kind of like this approach. I mean, Nakamura has this insanely high score with it because, let's say if you try to play in the center, like e5 is covered so well by black's pieces, and if you go d5, then the knight comes into the attack. So it's really not so easy for white to deal with this sort of thing. And you often play h4 just as a pawn sack, just to open up the h file as such. And yeah, knight h4 feels like a bit of an overreaction, because I can even go bishop f6 here and sort of kick that knight away again, and I think that's probably the way to play it. I mean, there are a lot of ways to play, like e5, knight f6, these are also fine moves. But I think I want to go after this guy, this king. So, okay, knight f3, let's go h4. Now my bishop is actually supporting it, so it's not even a sacrifice now. Knight d2, I mean, I can just, you know, take hg3 and just play it like this. I'll take this way first. He'll probably go fg3, and I think I will just play queen h3 and just knight h6, knight g4, and we can see that even though my opponent hasn't really played any like extremely bad moves, except maybe knight h4 losing to tempi, he still probably is in a worse position at this point because, I mean, that g4 square is just so nice for the knight hitting this guy and hitting this guy. But if he took, he just ends up with having a bad knight versus my good bishop. The bishop is a lot better than knight in general here. I mean, the plan can be also just cast along e5. Like, e5 is normally to break you play any sort of middle games to eventually get a foothold in the center. You might recognize this from some King's Indian positions as well. So if I was white, I'd probably go rook a1, play queen g2, and try to swap some pieces. And if d5 is knight c5. Okay, bishop f4 is really asking for the move e5 here. Interesting question how I should take back as well. Because you could make an argument for either pawn takes, can attempt on the bishop, or even knight e5 to try and deflect the knight away from f3. That being said, like, they're not really going to take, and they can always take back. So I think that taking with the pawn is the right decision. And then I just will probably castle long and, you know, build up on the h file or something. That seems like the right way to proceed here. Okay, bishop c5. Don't really know what the move does in this position. I mean, all my pieces are kind of on good squares, but what's going to be the plan? I mean, if the knight was on g4, g5, g4 would be really good, but I think I Probably have to sell for something like rook h5, rook h8, and... I mean, to be fair, this is not that easy for him to deal with. I mean, he could play rook d1, knight f1, but that's a little bit passive at the same time. So he's going queen g2. This was apparently his idea. But now I think that b6 maybe gains in strength. I should have taken and then played b6. Because now, yeah, he can take and he doesn't have to worry about knight e3 being a fork. So, yeah, my move order wasn't the best. But I'm still, I think, better in this endgame. Like, if I just play rook d3, for example, that really ties up a lot of his pieces in one go. Because h2 pawn sort of fixes a weakness here. I mean, maybe I can just go a5, a4 and just try to grab some space. Thinking also maybe... yeah, like my position looks good, but I'm just not sure how to follow it up. Like maybe rook h8, maybe it's time to redirect the focus toward the center now that the center is opened up. As I'm playing a lot more slowly today, which is probably good for my play, but it also, I guess, means that it takes long for me to get the points for a win in this league. But we'll see how it goes. And I'll probably go bishop b7 next move because, well, I don't want to suddenly have like a knight e1. Well, actually, you can play knight e1 anyway, but after rook d7, we won't be able to take f7 because he needs that rook to defend the knight on f2. So he goes king f1. I can go bishop c5, just gain a tempo on his rook, and actually that wins material because I can take f3 and then take d1 after that. So bishop b7 actually was a really good positional move by me with also a nice tactical point of using the pin. It's now just up a piece. But the game will probably see him flag because I don't think he wants to resign. I mean, it's just about attacking the weaknesses, you know, b4, rook a2 stuff. Yeah, let's just fix this pawn as a target. Go like f6, king d7, king e6. I did let him go king b5, which was, yeah, not great. But I think I'm up a piece. It's not that big of a deal to blunder one pawn. Okay, rook d2, kind of a slightly weird decision. Letting me go after this. Okay, rook here. Actually, there was one game I played, I think, yesterday where I was just really angry, and what happened was I ended up having, like, a game where I was completely winning, and then my opponent was about to lose on time. I just completely self-destructed. Like, first I put a rook completely on pre to a one mover, and then I miss his mate in 2 threat when he has, like, 5 seconds on the clock. As you can imagine, I was just so angry, like, a miracle I didn't, like, destroy a chair or a table or something in that time, or destroy my mouse. Yeah, like, yesterday was, like, in terms, I think yesterday was the worst chess I've ever played in my life, 100%. But today I'm playing a bit better. Although I did have a game earlier today, like, I played against a 2-6 type, like, my brain wasn't awake, and I just, like, blundered everything in one game. Because, like, I was winning out of the opening, I just, like, completely choked. Like, I think that's why I found, like, so frustrated at chess in the past, like, knowing that my level was a certain level objectively, but that when I played tournaments, I managed to really show it, like, or very rarely I managed to show it, and, you know, just would often, like, vastly underperform below my level. And that was always very frustrating to have that experience. And I guess it's starting to re-experience a bit lately, like, I'm not sure whether playing all of these games is, like, making me a much worse player, or whether it's, like, some other reason behind it. Okay, let's go knight b5. This is why I actually played in a game just yesterday. The idea of bishop b2 is to clear the way for knight b5 and try to put knight at d6. Although at a high level, I think a3 is meant to be the trend, and I think I might have played this in the game. At least I played it when the black side. I don't know about the white side. And yeah, for cd4, you just go knight d6, and actually, this is exactly how my game went. But in that game, I played this stupid queen f4, which is just completely pointless. Whereas f4 is the way you should play it instead. Just develop normally and ignore the pawn on d4 for the moment. This is the way to go. And I kind of sensed actually in the game I played last time, but I was just being really stupid for some reason. I think Nakamura might have gone bishop b5 or bishop d3, but I honestly don't remember. I think I'm just going to take the pawn just because it's a very simple move, like very easy to just pile the pressure. Because I got a similar structure in my other game I played yesterday, but the difference was there the queens got traded and it was sort of a better version for black. Whereas here the king being on f8 is, I think, a bigger problem by comparison because the h8 rook can't easily get into the game. A lot of time being put in. But Carl said, hello GM. Hey Carl, good to have you on the stream. Nice to see some more people starting to stream in. See what I did there? So rook a3, yeah, this is why I played a4, not just for this, but to do some fancy rook lift. And Frankly, I don't even know if rook a3 is all that great, but it does, set ideas to grab a pawn, or, if queen b6 I can take, and actually I do kind of just win a pawn. Unless he has, like, rook b3, d4, some dumb thing like this, maybe he can do. But that being said, I feel like this is still the way to play, because it does allow me to get at this pawn. And also, I think the pawn on d4 is a bit of a weakness still. So I'm going to play this, even though I have a feeling I'm going to regret it. Okay, I'm not going to regret it, because he's blundered the exchange. That was a pretty fast winning against a 2000 guy. I'm happy with that. So I'm playing him again. I'm sort of curious to see what he does against the modern, which is what Nakamura plays. Actually, he plays a lot of different approach, like d6, a6, c6, but the d6, a6 is the one I sort of am the most familiar with, and the one I think is objectively the best. Actually, Nakamura not only goes b5, but I'm doing a slightly different move order just for some variety. Yeah, a3 is a move that a lot of players play in these positions, but the problem is that also, A, you're losing a tempo, and B, you're kind of just making b4 stronger later. So I'm probably just training all the pieces, maybe thinking that by training all the pieces it gets him close to a draw, but the reality is that black is just clearly better here, because I've got the bishop pair, I've got more space, and my piece just coordinate a lot better in general here. Like, if you play knight f4, there's already bishop h6 and e5, and if you go knight g3, there's moves like h5, h4 to kick that knight away. Because your block with h4 just makes the white structure even less flexible. So we're going knight e7, king c7, knight c6, just put everything in the center. And such steps are really very easy to implement from black's perspective, just having the bishops on the outside looking in rather than on the inside looking out. And actually reminds like these are kind of like crisscross applesauce if you think about it. I don't even know what the reference is to crisscross applesauce. I think applesauce is like there's some state, I think, in the US that, like, makes really good, like, applesauce, but, yeah, I don't know. Like, I know about New York cheesecake, at least. I actually had a New York cheesecake to celebrate my 3-year wedding anniversary, and kind of like a double celebration of my birthday as well, because my wife, like, knew that I really like cheesecake. I think I mentioned it, like, on a stream or mentioned it to her or something. So, yeah, so that was pretty cool to enjoy that cheesecake. And enjoy some Western foods I haven't eaten for a while. But anyway, I guess after this I really should go on a diet. I guess the diet, I suppose it's starting today. I mean, I sort of realized, because I've been talking about things that are not like actual chess, the result is that I'm now just losing this pawn. Which is kind of sad. But okay, he blundered a pawn back, so it kind of works out in the end. He should have just gone knight d1, I would have gone like, say, f5, g4 or something like this. Now, the question is, do I take or do I just defend this pawn? I mean, I think it makes sense just to defend it, keep these things in reserve, because he can play a4 and, he saves the pawn, but, I can take it now. Because rook a1, I have bishop b4 and my bishop kind of gets away. He's threatening knight c4, so I should move my king out of the way and prepare c4 first. Because rook a1, I think I just can run away like this. So he goes knight g4. Oh, I didn't even realize he just blundered this knight for a whole lot of moves. I didn't even see it. That's kind of sad. That is sort of what I mean. I feel like, for some weird reason in the last days, like, I'm just not seeing my opponent's free pieces half the time, and it's kind of bothers me a little bit, because, like, even as, let's say, like, a 1000 raid player, I was seeing all the undefended pieces my opponents would leave, and now I'm just not anymore, and I don't know why. It's probably just, like, some lack of focus, like, not really concentrating in the games properly. That's probably the reason. I probably could have just grabbed a free pawn, but okay, I'll take it now. He can't really defend this pawn anymore. So d5, yeah, it's all he can really do. But he's still down a pawn for absolutely nothing. And if he attacks my knight with h6, I'll just put it on e4. Just defend like that. h5's kind of weird though. Queen e2, use the pin, something like this. And yeah, for some weird reason, this guy's giving up all his pieces and guy's already in 72, so he really shouldn't, I think, be blundering this badly, but apparently he is. Let's go knight d5, castle. I could have castled first, but I thought maybe I want to actually keep his king exposed. I mean, now, okay, now he just resigns. Okay, he resigned quickly, so let's see if he wants to play again. Okay, looks like he does. Let's go g6. I'm going to be playing this pretty much every game unless, I get distracted and forget, but I'm kind of remembering the repertoire reasonably well, like, you go e6 is normally what Nakamura does. Just play very solidly and just go for some a6, b5 or something. I mean, normally I want to go rook b8 and then b5, but here the knight is sort of covering it. I might go knight d4. It's often a very good square for knight in the close Sicilian positions. Yeah, he's going knight e2 to try to trade it off, but really, I mean, I can either just take and say it's no big deal, or even just move the knight back. I think I'll take, because it makes it harder for him to get in some move like d4 in the future. There we go, a5, just b4, just open up the queen side like this. Knight g4 is kind of weird, because I kind of want to play f5 anyway, I think, and, you know, grab some space on the side of the board. I mean, it makes it harder for him to really do anything constructive on the king side. E5, e5, knight e3, bishop e7 kind of ensures that he's not going to be able to use that outpost on d5. So he goes back to h2 anyway. Kind of, yeah, defeats the whole point of his move. So he goes g4, and I kind of want to go f5 then anyway to stop him playing f5. So now I'm just putting some pressure on this pawn, and okay, he goes e5. And, well, I can play a lot of different moves here, really. I can even just play, like, yeah, a little bit unsure. Like, maybe I should just take and go knight c6. The idea being that if e d6, I can play this intermediate move. Bishop takes c3, and then I'm going to pick up the pawn on d6 a bit after that. Also, like, last night, like, when I realized I'd played too much chess, just needed to take a bit of a break, I actually watched Crimes of Grindelwald, and yeah, I sort of, like, agree with, like, some of the, or what Movie Flames reviewers, like, he said, like, yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as the reviewers claim, and yeah, I mean, I thought it was actually a fairly good movie, actually, and I don't think it's as good as, let's say, the Harry Potter films. I think those films are probably better in general, but I thought it's worth, I did kind of enjoy it. I think it's, like, a lot of it was, like, very subtle, like, you have to really concentrate a lot to kind of really follow what's going on in the movie, and I think it is a big advantage to kind of know some of the story beforehand. Otherwise, you might miss out a lot of the kind of subtle points, but so I was able to kind of follow all the subtle points. I kind of, yeah, was able to get a certain pleasure out of watching it. So that was nice. And yeah, I mean, after like having like the worst chess performance of my life, you know, in like the 12 hours or whatever before that, it felt good to do something not chess for a bit. So yeah, d4 is just, I don't know why he's blundering all his pawns, but okay, I guess I'll take him. Okay, so let's play this. Actually, I really could have taken that rook, but okay, it's fine. He resigned first. g6. Do this again. Yeah, kind of curious. I know Nakamura also plays like c5 quite a bit, but I sort of learned the d6 knight c6 approach, because you can kind of do it against pretty much everything that that they throw at you. So you go knight d4, let's go knight e2 and trade off the knight, but here you can, you know, go here, and okay, f4 is a move I haven't really seen before, and I'm guessing there's probably a reason why. It goes whether you take or whether you just play like knight f6. Even bishop h6 is kind of interesting actually, but I think that ef4 and knight f6 is probably the way to go. Just kind of letting them, you know, take and let my bishop get active in the process, and I think that with white's king still uncastled, that I think this should be quite decent for me, because e5 is going knight h5, and I just basically this just works tactically, like ed6, knight 4, d7, queen e7, and I just have the bishop pair and the lead in development. Like, it's one thing with the modern, like, if your opponent doesn't know the Fury, they might think that you, and they can just refute your play just by hacking your king in the middle, just pushing all the pawns forward. But if you do it, like, at the wrong time or don't do it in the right way, then you might get this situation like this, where you're just completely getting destroyed because all you did is help the opponent's pieces get more active with all of your exchanges in the center. Because you think about it, the main idea of the modern defense is actually to just rip open the king, or rip open the center, I should say. And here I've just managed to do it because my opponent kind of just ripped open the center for me, which is somewhat ironic. Okay, knight e3, I can go like h4 or something, or f4, I should say. If knight f4, I mean, that just opens up his own king. So it feels like I think something here should be just completely GG. Like, I mean, at g5, bishop h6, bishop f4, d4, rook f4 are kind of the main candidates. It feels like rook f4 should just be mating somehow, but I don't see how just yet. But I don't think it wins material by force though. So let's, yeah, let's play it. I think I figured out how this wins. You go bishop h6. Actually, I could even go like, actually knight d5 is not so simple. Let's just play it like this. And I think that king f3, bishop h3 is just completely game over. Because after take, rook f8, king g3, queen e5, he only has king h4 and then queen g5 as mate. This is what I'd calculate when I was thinking about rook f4. And actually, in a way, it's kind of like a good advertisement for playing the modern, because if you play a main line, I think it's harder to win games like this because your opponents can just play more solidly. But here, make play like some sort of mini brilliancy. Well, it's more like him self-destructing, but yeah, it was still a fun little game to play. I enjoyed playing it, and I guess if you probably enjoyed watching it as well. Always check the comments to see what you guys have to say. I'm going to keep playing Grand Prix attack because, sometimes it happens that I should have gone d4, by the way. Sometimes it happens that you sort of play an opening and the first few times you're still kind of getting a feel for it and you're not really, don't really understand all the stuff. And sometimes it's just a matter of playing it a bit more often, and then as you play it more, you start to sort of get the hang of it and start to have much better results. I think he's misplayed this. We get this at f7 that, well, if he goes knight f5, just d4, so he doesn't really have a great way to defend. I think yes, actually, knight f5 can go rook f5 and knight f7. Okay, I completely did not see knight e5 was possible, which is a little bit sad, but luckily I'm still doing very well here. I guess I have knight f6, and I mean, a position like this, you just feel like there's got to be some breakthrough, like even, say, knight h7, I can even grab a pawn back if I want to. It'd be nice to get rid of this knight, but it's not so easy. Yeah, maybe I'll just take the pawn and try to, get in at f7 somehow. Because if knight c4, I've got rook f7, this is the idea also of knight fh7. And now, I mean, if I could get the knight to queen h4, this would just be over rather quickly, but he is kind of threatening this f6 move here. So I'm wondering whether I should actually just play like knight f7, just like sack a rook, but blow open the king. It's very tempting at this point to do something like this. I mean, the attack is definitely very strong, but it doesn't seem like it's actually winning. But what do I do otherwise? I mean, there's another thing, like, getting this situation a lot in the Grand Prix. Like, I know there's some win, but I just don't see it. But I think rook f7 might be the key. Because after this, I realized that, after this and this, that he can't take me because queen e6 is mate. And I'm also hitting the queen, I'm also hitting the bishop. So I think this is the way to win it. Actually, also nothing as well about playing these lines I noticed is that it's actually kind of a lot of fun to play these sort of very aggressive lines when it actually works. I mean, you just get very easy attacking ideas, and you can often win quite beautifully as well if you're tactically somewhat sharp. And definitely a fun way to play, like at least it's fun when you win. Obviously, it's not really fun to lose, but if, let's say, you do win the game, it's a more fun way to win the game. So here I'm just going to just bring the queen into the attack, I think. Play like some rook e1, I think, and threaten the queen f7 mate because of the pin. Now I'm even tempted actually to sack here. Because even though I give up a bit of material, I do manage to kind of kill a lot of his counterplay and also pick up this pawn, because now queen e6 is even worse than just letting the pawn go. Because now I win the bishop, and then this is just easy, up 1,000,000 points in material. And it's going to be 1,000,000 more. Actually, this would be a funny mate if we finish like that. And actually he does allow it. See what I mean, like kind of, even though it's like not that big of a deal, it's still a fun kind of pattern to get in, and against a 800 as well. I think that a lot of you could probably have found a lot of those same moves, well, at least to get to the attacking position, because they're really quite standard attacking ideas from White's perspective. Again, you can see as well, like you're kind of playing these moves almost as a system, so it sort of allows you to gain a bit of an early lead on the clock, unless your opponent like blitzed out some moves, but unless they've actually studied this line, which is kind of unlikely when it's a sideline, it's quite likely you're just going to get a really good position. You can see this guy making the same kind of mistake that the 2008 player was making before, just letting me, get kind of everything I could want. I mean, now it's I have the bishop pair, I have a weakness on e5 to target, and I can just castle d8, and black is just significantly better here. So it's not the point, like, it's one advantage of playing these sort of sidelines is that, yeah, your opponent's just a lot less likely to know it compared to if you play a main line. And even though objectively they're not as good, the chance of your opponent actually knowing how to punish it is really not that high in reality. I mean, I do think that if you are serious about becoming like a master or a grandmaster, yeah, at some point you will have to learn more mainline systems kind of to really reach the full extent of your potential as a player. But if, let's say, you're kind of one of these lazy players where you don't want to spend a lot of time studying opening theory, but you want something where you can still get some kind of unfair advantage over your opponents, then this is really a good way to do so. So I'm going to play e6 just to stop him going e6. Not e6 is much of a threat, but I do kind of want to try and improve my position a little bit. Yeah, it's going knight d4 now. There's no queen g2 mate. So I think that queen b6 and... Well, maybe I can go bishop f8 even at some point and activate my bishop that way. Because my bishop does a good job defending the king on e7. You know, when you play his g6, bishop g7, sometimes it does make it very hard for the opponent to attack your king successfully. But at the same time, at some point, you do want to get that bishop more active in a structure like this. And I think that... I mean, bishop c5 just seems very natural. His idea is probably go knight e3 and... You have to be a little bit careful at some knight g4. Like, I might have to play... Maybe I should play some move like h5 just to stop that. Well, it does slightly open my king, but if he plays g4, it opens up his king as well. So, yeah, and he does this, but now I think I can play queen c6 or bishop takes e3. It's an interesting question which one is better. Because I think queen c6, bishop g2, bishop e3, I do end up winning a pawn at the end of all those complications. So that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I should have taken first, but then he could go bishop g2 anyway. But yeah, this is my idea. Like, I threaten mates. Bishop c6, bishop f4, bishop e7, take, rook b8, and at the end of all this, I do end up winning a pawn, and granted it is opposite-coloured bishops, but on the other hand, I think it's an opposite-coloured bishop ending that, with the rooks on the board, and also the extra pawn, and the fact that my bishop is just a lot better than his, because yeah, my pawns are really killing his bishop at the moment. I do think this is probably close to winning for black. I could even consider a move like g5 if I want to fix as a weakness, but I think I will just take back. Could also have gone bishop 8, b2, and gone for c3, which maybe was even better, but because I was a little bit lazy and not wanting to risk erring just yet. Again, I should have gone b4, that would have been better in order to win the pawn, but okay, I can do it now. Though I just tried blundered bishop h5 like a beginner. Just didn't pay attention to the idea of my opponent's move. Otherwise, I would have gone h4 and then played b4. But for some weird reason, he didn't take the pawn, which is kind of bizarre to my mind. Bishop e5. Go rook b2 or something. Get him go h4 at this point. Just try to keep things safe. He has rook e4. Yeah, this is just a big mistake. Has blundered my pawn back. Luckily, I still have 2 passed pawns, so it might... Or not 2, I have 1 passed pawn. So yeah, now like it's not clearly winning anymore. Now I have to work a lot for it. But I guess we're playing like rook b2, maybe bishop c5. I still feel like it's going to come together eventually. Okay, I didn't even see rook e3 was legal, but I don't think it helps him too much. I mean, I just go bishop c5. Well, I could go rook e2. That is actually one difference he has with this option. And then we're kind of doing like a ring around the rosy sort of thing at this point. With me playing badly and him playing too slowly. Go rook h8. I mean, these visions, all you can really do is kind of keep maneuvering, just keep trying different things and hope that eventually the opponent falls for one of your tricks. The good news is you can really try for a long time, like you're not really risking anything and you can just keep shuffling around a lot. So there is actually a lot of potential to outplay the opponent. Like for example, my opponent's last 2 moves are probably not very good because now rook a2 becomes a quite serious idea and now I also just take his pawn. And now I think it's probably winning again. King d6 just stop the counterplay and then play like rook to a2 after this. King f2 maybe I can just give some checks to gain a little time. So he's checking my king now, but okay, I mean, I go king d4, and it does feel like this is just going to come together one way, like bishop g3, and this is a nice little trick I have. So it's going to be one. I even wonder if I can actually win if I trade off the rooks, but in general, you want to keep the rooks on the board, because then it's much easier for you to attack the king unopposed bishop. So again, that a little bit long, taking a little bit longer for you to actually gain some points. Or gain some trophies. Like, it's like, oh, I'm getting a player rate like 2,700. Like, remember the last I was playing like 2,600, 2,700 players, like, let's say above 2,650. I was playing Hikaru's openings, I was just beating him so easily with it. It was just crazy. But anyway. So, yeah, g6, let's go bishop c4 again. And then go castles. Okay, knight h6 is kind of weird, but he's probably just going to transpose, right? Yeah, just d3. But I noticed actually Hikaru is when his opponent play like f5. It seems to be when he actually should have gone probably f5, but a4 is kind of a lazy move. Stop him going b5 and annoying the bishop. Yeah, my opponent's playing in a very unorthodox way, and feels like if I just go f5, queen h4, that it doesn't really, not really obvious to me what he's kind of going for. But yeah, this whole mix of moves just strikes me as very odd. Like I go I mean, he does have b5, b4, but like I have bishop d5, so what? I mean, let's go f5 now. Now, that's not even a sack because doesn't have the bishop covering that square. So, okay, knight g4, he wants to go knight e5, but I mean, we can even play like fg6, and I mean, just threatening bishop f7, and he's going to lose the right to castle, and yeah, his whole play strikes me as very, very odd. Like, I'm really struggling to understand the idea of most of his moves at this point. I mean, maybe that's his idea to try to confuse me, but it's not really that effective, I think. If bishop h4, I just go like king h1, and okay, he doesn't have to move the knight, but again, so what? Okay, I do want to focus a little bit more, because I mean, this guy is rated to over 2700 blitz. Still lower than me, but still not such a bad player, let's say. I was going 95. Oh, I think I see... Man, he's so tricky. So he's going to go rook f8, and after I move the bishop, he just goes knight f2 and knight g4, and I think he might have like some fluke perpetual, or actually even better than the perpetual, because my king is getting chased everywhere. Man, how am I like... I don't get, like, how am I losing to this kind of rubbish sort of play? Just, because I mean, it's just like, sure, I'm just like clearly better if I just play some normal move, but just completely screwed this up. Like, I play like the one thing that makes idea effective. Like, that's what I mean, like, I'm sort of playing like I'm just missing really obvious moves from my opponents all the time, and I don't know why I just keep missing them. It's just very puzzling to me. But yeah, now I think I'm just completely lost. Just completely dead lost after knight f2. Knight g4, bishop e5, rook f8, and... Although actually there he doesn't really have, I think, a winning blow, actually. Like, it looks very great for him, but... Yeah, it's going c4. Okay, this is probably the answer. And then his queen comes in, and I'm just probably completely dead. Oh, no, sorry, he has knight h2, which I didn't even see before. So yeah, this is just completely hopeless for me. Man, how did I play so terribly? How is it possible to play such terrible, terrible chess? Okay, if I go bishop c4, I feel like that's probably of the best bet of survival. Although, actually, for a second I thought I had a way to survive this, but I don't think I do. I think I'm just completely busted. Okay, I think this is my best bet, just to take, and... Yeah, it's going knight g4, but okay, can I do bishop f4 maybe? Probably not, I'm probably just completely lost here as well, in fact. Yeah, he just goes here, and like, if here he just bring the queen in and knight h2, and yeah, just completely dead. The problem is king f3, knight h2, king h2, rook f8 is even worse. So yeah, just playing worse chess you can imagine right now. Yeah, I think he's actually forcing mate at this point. Like queen e5, and yeah, I just get mated. Man, that's embarrassing. I just think, I don't know, I feel like the Grand Prix attack, maybe this doesn't suit my style. Because it's like, I keep playing it so badly. Like this guy, like he plays the worst system you could possibly imagine against Grand Prix, and he still beats me. Like, it's just like, it makes me wonder, like, what am I even doing, like, playing chess? And the thing is, like, no one's even, like, watching the stream anyway, you know? Kind of makes me a bit discouraged. Yeah, that's why he normally plays it, like, king h2, knight g3, f4. It's actually quite a nice attacking plan. Although I keep forgetting, like, that he goes knight g3 to avoid knight g4. Well, knight g4, maybe let's go king g3, maybe it's nothing. Because knight g3, this would actually have been a lot more effective. Because it takes queen h4 mate as his idea. But okay, now I can play like f5 and, you know, get a pretty standard attack. But he still has knight g4, knight e3 all the time. Like, the thing, like, I just keep missing these obvious tactics, and it just... I don't know, like, I feel like my level has gone down, like, over 400 points in the last, like, week or so, and... I don't know where it's since I, like, started streaming. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just, like, just playing really, really badly. Having, like, massive crisis in form, and I just don't know what to do about it. Because, like, even when I play, like, blitz games, even though I sort of am sort of able to at least maintain my rating at worst, I feel like a lot of the games I like just blundering a piece and have to somehow swindling them later. So it's like not really very good chess play. He does get 3 pawns for the piece here, but I'm still better because he can't really advance those pawns so easily, whereas I have a lot of quite appealing squares for my knights in this kind of structure. I'm not gonna lie, I'm honestly feeling a little bit discouraged. Probably part of it is because of playing so badly in event yesterday. Like really, I think dented my confidence. I really feel like I'm lucky to be playing like at a 200 level on average in my games. But yeah, and knight e3 is a mistake though, because like just take and go knight d5 and I have a fork. If he goes bishop b6, I just take and I win the pawn on d6 there. Takes. I mean, I think one thing that might be a solution, like I often seem to improve the most when I actually create a new course, because actually it's been a little bit of time since I actually created like and actually published a full new course. So I do feel like maybe that's the key. Like if I just create a new course, like maybe even on like Hikaru's openings for white, that might help me to play a lot better, and also bring in some revenue. Because I mean, I have to admit, like one reason I stopped creating course because I just kind of got sick of this, like, because I felt like when I was creating course, I felt like living paycheck to paycheck. Kind of like, okay, I'm basically relying on this course to sell well in order to have a good sort of living, and I just kind of got sick of that for a while. But now that I've taken a bit of a break, I think I can be a bit more enthusiastic about this this possibility. Where I mean, it's kind of it's kind of fun. It's fairly quick to actually create the course. Like if you think about the amount you get paid like per hour, like at least with my current list, I mean, I think that it could potentially work out alright. And I can also we like do some videos on YouTube and this sort of thing on a topic. And I think that, and also another thing as well is like with a topic on like Nakamura's, like the thing is he has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and it's the kind of thing that Hikaru isn't really making many courses. Well, I think he is making one for Chessable somewhat soon, actually, like on his best games, or I forgot what the topic was exactly. But yeah, I do think that something like this would, like just tapping into someone else's really large audience by just doing a topic on something that just is naturally interesting to a lot of people. Like how is it that Nakamura is the best blitz player on chess.com, and how can we try to play like him, at least in the opening phase. I think it's something that would get a very large following and could even potentially go a little bit viral, because only one person really has attempted to, I think, cover like Nakamura's like repertoire at all, like from white, and that was with 1b3, whereas his repertoire 1e4 is very different. And I think e4 just in general attracts a much wider audience because what most people are basically playing as such. So yeah, that's kind of my thinking behind it at the moment. The course on Nakamura's white repertoire, and of course Nakamura's black repertoire. That's kind of what I think will be my next project. Like I think for like Monday, like it's sort of funny because there's a part of me that wants to try to qualify for the Legend League, and there's a part of me that wants to just like create these two courses. I think like if I do both, I don't think I'll be able to like win the Legend League and also do the course, but maybe I could actually go for it. It kind of depends on how competitive it is, like games the others are playing. But I mean, if I'm able to like have a really good win rate, where let's say I just am able to win, let's say like 99% of my games, then I might only have to play something like 6 hours a day, and that would still give time, like if the time to still like record the course. Like if I make it somewhat short, like let's say 6 hours each course or something, and just make it like really simple, aimed at let's say like relatively like maybe 1600 and below, but still useful for players well above that. Like I think that would work pretty well, and that's sort of where my head is at. That, and I can also like to think about when I'm doing the streams, like the stream can actually help promote the course in a way, because I can say, well, I'm just going to play the lines like Hikaru's opening retro white and black, like I'm doing here, that's covered in my course. So now that I think about it, I feel like that's actually a pretty good plan for the week. Just like make it all centered around the course, but like make it that the streams won't play. I'm still playing the openings. I put a link to to how to get the courses. That's kind of where my head is at after way too much talking. So something I was originally going to share originally with just with my inner circle, but I think that it's something that deserves a much wider audience. That's my feeling. I mean, my plan is going to be like g5, knight f4, and attack his pawn. I think works quite well here. Because his knight is actually kind of stuck. Like, you'd have to go knight a8 to try to free this piece. And okay, I mean, I can even play knight... he has knight a6 all the time. Let's just activate the king. You can go knight a8, but there knight c6, I hit this pawn as well as my idea. Yeah, I don't want to allow knight a6 and let him get one of the pawns back at least. So here goes king f2. Okay, I can play h6. It just doesn't really do anything, but it doesn't really hurt the position either. I only just realized the guy's rated 1041. So, okay, let's go for this plan now. Been winning this game kind of too slowly, but whatever. At least I win it for sure by taking my time a little bit. Let's go knight f4, attack this guy. And the checks don't really do that much for me. I just move the king back, and I mean, I'm also threatening knight to d5 now, for that matter. Like if knight b6, I have no very cool tactic where I can take and go knight d5. So let's do that, just force a way into a pawn ending, because that's an easy win. Because I'm just up a lot of pawns. Yeah, it's kind of annoying when it is refused to resign these dead loss positions, but what can you do? I mean, if I was kind of like way low on time, I would sort of understand it trying to flag, but otherwise it's kind of puzzling to me. I mean, I could beat them more quickly, but at some point you're just like, I just want to torture them. Kind of wanting to punish them for just, refusing to resign. But it looks like you're going to flag first. Man, I was like pulling my teeth out. And that's something interesting actually, like with, on this, what was I going to say? Like I know it's on chess.com, like what they do is now a feature where you can actually see like when people are streaming, like they have like just like check out this stream like in the bottom, like on the bottom right. And you can't see it because I have it hidden from you guys' view at the moment, but that's kind of a cool feature. But I mean, it's sort of, yeah, with Twitch, like it's sort of a, like I consider, like at what point do I consider like, Twitch and Facebook gaming and Twitch, and I don't know, like I sort of have thought about it, and I kind of feel like if I go on Twitch, like there's just so many other streams that take a long time to build up a following, but at the same time I feel like this is not growing maybe at the pace I would like either, and maybe it's because, of the time where, back when I think it was Thursday or Friday, I kind of forgot, I think it was Friday, like where I had just this, record just broke, as all these people like following the stream suddenly, but the same thing is it does also kind of come in waves, like where at one point you might have a ton of people watching, and also was helped a lot by some streamers like Charlie and Chesscology sharing my stream, obviously was a part in that. But I guess also, yeah, kind of like, sometimes you just have to be a little bit patient, I guess, with these things and realize that it's not going to all happen overnight. Actually, I really kind of misplayed this, I think, because I guess Misty was attacking my knight, and now, I mean, I do still probably have compensation for the pawn, like I'm probably still better, but yeah, I mean, I guess, I guess with Rook D8, actually, I'm probably just winning, in fact, with correct play, because Rook D8 just makes it very hard for him to develop his queen side, so, okay, so that's good to know. I've probably still been playing this well. I mean, a computer will always say after the game, right? So let's go Rook H8 and play for mates is the very straightforward plan. Rook F5, I'd probably just go Bishop E3, just keep the control and don't let him out. Actually, I could even go Rook G8, but I'm going to go Bishop E3, and I just don't allow him to easily take any of my pieces. In general, if you don't blunder any pieces, it's quite likely you're going to win the game. That's a little principle. So let's go, I could play something like Bishop D3, but the thing is, if he goes King E7, like, what's the follow-up? I was thinking Bishop B5 was, like, maybe a better move earlier, but for some reason I just didn't play it. I mean, I guess I'm trying to sort of, like, trick him with the bishops. Like, Bishop G6, and now this is starting to come together. Like, Bishop E8, and this actually is going to be mate in a few moves, as you will see, as my pre-moves are executed. Okay, so a fun little game showing how Nakamura deals with the modern. Although, yeah, it's true, it's only after E6 and the Hippo, he goes like H4, H5 and hacks their king like that. But anyway, let's see who's next. I think I mentioned at the start of the stream, like I will be finishing this in like probably 30 minutes or so. I'll finish stream because I do have like an inner circle coaching call that I'll be doing. Actually, you can, I mean, I don't think you guys like probably haven't seen enough of me or my videos to maybe instant join the inner circle yet, but it is in the chess courses and membership section where I think you can find that if you want to check out more about it. Actually, D5 might go Queen E2. It's not like a little salty that Nakamura does where he doesn't allow black to trade off their queen sometimes. Okay, let's just castle. Go D3, Queen E2, F4. 95, yeah, this sort of justifies me not rushing Queen E2 because I think it's a move I kind of want to play anyway. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. You want to go D3. So I might go F4 first and just make this try to work tactically. I don't know if it actually does. He has queen d4 and cb2, and I feel like I probably screwed this up really badly. Because he's going to be up a pawn at the end of this. Man, what am I doing? Okay, after this, actually, I do have the move queen f2, actually. That does actually make things sort of work for me. Okay, but now he's doing this, which is kind of weird. Like, I just get a very strong center. With d4, like, I've got the bishop pair backing it up, and he's way behind in development. Now, I often needs to try to play moves like h4 and hit the knight. I might start with rook b1 first and see how he defends the pawn. And I mean, e5 just leaves the knight kind of out on a limb. Because if he goes h5 to stop h5, then he can't really castle short anymore. I guess he's probably going to castle long at some point, but he only has the f7 problem to deal with. The short answer is that he's just, I think, strategically close to lost at this point. And yeah, now I just win the pawn. I mean, even here, like the b file just gives me a very nice attack down the queen side to attack the king. You can go queen g4, queen c4, and just attack this pawn. I'm going c4 because that way I bring my queen more into the attack. And at this point, you sort of feel like something like rook to b7 at some point will be very good, but at the same time, you don't really need to rush. I mean, I can go h5, forces knight to some bad square, like h8, just a really sad square for that knight. And yeah, rook f8, you can play bishop b3 and just keep the tension like this. And I mean, at some point, it feels like with a4, a5, a6, that his queen side is going to collapse. Because if you play a6, that's a very weakening move as well. Now, knight 7 is kind of curious. I could go bishop a3 if I want to. But the thing is, I kind of like my bishop on g2. So let's go for the plan I mentioned before of a5. And try and provoke some weakening move like a6. Well, it's not really that clear how weakening it is in reality. I mean, maybe a better plan would have been to go like queen d3 and just push in the center in some way. Because if I get this long dangle open for my bishop, I think I'm just winning here. So he goes bishop to g5. Just giving me... I think he just blundered. Because I can just take and win 2 minor pieces for a rook now. Oh! He takes with check and now it's down a rook. What the hell am I thinking? This is the thing, like, I just make these ridiculous blunders all the time and I just don't know why I blunder like this. It's just completely ridiculous. Like, how do you miss the bishop b3 with a check? Just freaking insane. Just so mad at myself. Like, how is it possible to play such terrible, terrible moves like this? It's absolutely unforgivable. I mean, now all I have to really hope for is he blunders something like this and... Okay, is he really going to repeat moves? Or is he just toying with me? Looks like he's actually going to go for repetition with an extra rook. That's crazy. But it's not like I have a lot of choice anyway. The thing is, if he moves the bishop, I do actually have rook b7, and this actually is not so... but he's going to go rook f2 and just say he mates me. The problem is, what else do I do at this point? Like, I have to try something. Yeah, rook f2 and a queen a6, he just goes queen h5, and... Oh, but he just... This actually forces mate, or at the very least I have a draw in this position. Because, like, after king d8, queen e6, he goes king e8, he actually gets made by bishop c6, queen d7, so I think he has to... Unfortunately, I don't really have better than a draw, I think. Unless... Actually, it's not even made. He has the e7 square. That's kind of sad, but what else am I going to do, you know? I have to try something here. Okay, let's go queen a7, and I can still try and mate him. Okay. Let's... Oh. Yeah, I have to go king d7. He has to be a little bit careful here. But if I go here, I mean, I can take this with a check. I mean, I'm still losing, but maybe I can still try to flag the guy. Just start taking pawns with check. And, you know, I do have a lot of pawns in this position. That's the good news. And, I mean, he might be getting a little bit scared at this point. Okay, let's go here. He's taking a lot of time on his moves. Okay, good news is that he's not... Okay, he's offering me a draw now, but I'm going to plan. I'm going to flag you. I'm going to dirty flag you like this. Okay, king here. And, I mean, if I can get, like, him to... Oh, now he just blundered mate. So you have to be kind of careful when you've got the opposite track. But man, that was a lucky win. But that's like how a lot of my wins against like somewhat high rate play seem to go these days. I play a complete idiot, blunder piece, and still somehow win in the end. Or I don't win and I just hate my life. So d6. Normally Naka goes knight c6, bishop d7. This is like a fun system against Hikaru setups like g3, where you just go like bishop h3, h5, and you just hack their king. Objectively, it's completely rubbish going the engine, but you find a very difficult thing. Eugene Bolano says blunder. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, maybe it's best to laugh about these things sometimes, because, like, if you don't laugh, you're probably just going to cry, and crying's definitely worse than laughing, so, yeah, maybe I'm with you on that. I mean, yeah, it's going rook h1, trying to defend, but like now you can even go h3, for example, and just leave that rook completely out of play, which I'm sort of tempted to do, but there's a part of me that just wants to try and do something a bit more aggressive, because that's more in the spirit of this kind of line. That's why I played e5 and switched this kind of structure. It was probably a mistake. I should have gone f6 and then e5, because now it's kind of hard to kick away the knight, because knight e6 is coming all the time, so they kind of screwed up the move order, really. And like, this knight is in my face all the time. Like, what am I going to do? And he goes queen f6. Like, now I'm really thinking I played this whole position extremely stupidly. I mean, I guess if I get an a6, b5 would be nice, but he just stops with a4 and I just have nothing. All my pieces are just on the wrong squares here. Knight's just massive pain in the neck. Okay, he's trying to go for b4. That actually gives me some hope, because he can't do it yet. Okay, knight a4 is a little bit weird. I feel like he is starting to drift in this kind of position, like he doesn't have a clear plan in this kind of closed pawn structure. So I get b5, so I think my position is actually quite good, because I have some space to work with on this sector. I mean, nicely for rook b8 and, you know, prepare some pushes. I can actually smell some really good dinner as well. I'm really excited about the cooking, because I had some fried chicken earlier today. Like, it was the first meal I had, and man, it just tasted so good. Like, my mother-in-law's fried chicken recipe is just fantastic. So okay, knight 3 is kind of odd. Maybe he wants to go bishop g5, but I mean, let's move. Oh, he's threatening to take the pawn. I didn't even see that. What the heck do I do then? I mean, I think I just have to let him take, but maybe it's not that great, because his bishop kind of gets trapped. He might have actually blundered a little bit there, because g4 just take the bishop, but otherwise g5 is coming. And I wonder if I can even try to prepare it, but maybe I'm overthinking it a bit. Okay, bishop g5 is kind of weird. Let's go knight f6. I mean, he doesn't really have a follow-up. And I might look good on e6, but, you know, I can in a worst case trade it off with, I don't know, knight c6. I try knight 6 because he takes g7 and c6. But, you know, I can try some things. Like, maybe rook b4, just attack this pawn or something. After knight c3, he does have rook a8 check, though, so maybe I shouldn't have gone for this. Let's go queen e8 and try to trade it off this way. That's what I'm thinking. I could go h7, but d7 feels more natural. Okay, I'm just somehow managing to, like, miss every single one of my opponent's moves. Don't know how that's possible. Kind of like, you know, when, you know, low rate plays like, oh, I know knew you were going to do that. For me, it's like, I didn't know you were going to do that. It's like what I'm saying every time. Like, rook a7 is probably just really good. I mean, just not really managing to coordinate my pieces at all here, which is really quite sad. Yeah, Fury just takes, like, how am I playing this so terribly? I don't get it. How is it possible to play this so bad? Actually, I've taken this, he has rook a7, he ends up picking up the knight. Okay, he does it in this version, which I think is a worse version, actually, because I think I can go bishop f6 here. And, I mean, if he takes, I go, like, bishop g7, and I think I just hold. I don't think he has perpetual. Oh, no, he does have perpetual check. What the hell am I doing? Just gave the guy a perpetual, like an idiot. Okay, but now I can play rook b8, and he doesn't have it anymore, because I will just play here, and he's not going to have an e8 check at a key moment. So, okay, I think I can play knight to f8 now, before he gets into some knight h5 and scares me like this. Okay, let's play rook. Yeah, it's still kind of tricky, but I think if I just trade off his attackers, that's going to be the way to defend this. But he does have knight g4 all the time. Knight g4 is annoying, but I think I can deal with it. I mean, I cover it this way. That's quite fortunate. Put my king on h8, and then I'm pretty well safe. King h8 just to get out of any h5 business. Let's go rook d8, just defend. Just defend. Okay, queen f7, knight f6, king 7. I will eventually unravel out of this. Because, I mean, he only has one pawn for the rook after all. Hit this guy. Fair free, I can even play like knight h5 if I wanted to. But okay, now it just blunders the pawn. h5 is giving up this one as well. If knight e3, I just take the pawn. Okay, just take. Yeah, I can just win the queen like that. And yeah, he's going to lose on time. Okay, so how many... Let's play some more. I mean, I did say I was going to play until like about, what, 4:50, 4:55 my time. So that means we have another like 20 minutes or so to go at this point. Do remember you can also support the stream as well. You know, it all adds up for me. So thanks in advance. Actually, it's not the way Nakamura normally plays it. He normally plays like some weird... He normally goes like d6 or something. But anyway, Just playing the main line because I know it's good for black. H3 is kind of a bit sort of a pointless move in some ways. I wants to go not allow knight g4. This is the idea, but okay, I'll just go e5. This is the break that you should play against the bird and also e4 against the Dutch, because when they trade, you just end up having more space in the center, and their pawn on e3 ends up a little bit weak, as you can see here. I could even try to attack with bishop h6 at some moment, maybe after getting some of the other pieces developed first. So he plays c4, and the problem with c4 is that now e3 is isolated. Your rook on b1 just looks really silly, and bishop d3, rook d8 kind of just makes it worse. So it means that now black is in a completely dominant position. Let's go knight e4. Let's go some knight g3 or something. Yeah, I'm resting my voice a little bit, because I do plan to talk a lot today. Oh my god. I actually feel like I'm always going to fall asleep, which is kind of weird because I slept for like 10 hours beforehand. No, I slept for 10 hours today. Probably because I stayed up a bit, stayed up to like 3 a.m. or whatever. Sometimes I sleep in more after that to kind of compensate. Not like intentionally, but it just happens that way. And then if I go to bed like before midnight, I often wake up for like 6 hours sleep, and just not that sustainable for me because I'm naturally an early bird. So anyway, here goes rook b1. Let's just put everything in the center. I mean, I don't think you can go too far wrong with an approach like this. I mean, thinking knight g3 for the last however many moves is being very, very tempting. And actually now it works because... Actually, it probably worked on some other moves as well. But, I mean, now what I do is I have rook d3, bishop e4. And I win his rook with the skewer like that. So, yeah, just... And yeah, I could have done this over a few moves now. So, probably the injured's going to say, like, afterwards, oh, you made all these mistakes, but whatever. Yeah, 2 mistakes, okay, I don't really care. I think it was a pretty smooth example how to beat the London. I played this guy again. A guy you might remember some previous news, a guy who called me a cheater every game, because he doesn't understand chess. Okay, let's go 2 knights. He plays really fast as well. So, okay, let's go bishop c4, knight e5, queen e2, and he has to do something like this to defend. But now, like, knight e5 doesn't know whose bishop. Didn't manage to get outside the pawn chain at least. Yeah, h6, I'm even tempted to sack, but I should probably just go knight e4. Just play it normally, like bishop b3. Rook e1, c4. Like, a4 is a little bit weakening, I think. Let's go rook e1. I could go c4 at some point, or I can even, you know, play it more slowly. But I feel like I should just do this. Just, you know, trade off the pawn potentially, and try to kick away as one good piece. So now I want to go bishop a6, so maybe I should actually stop that and bring the bishop back this way. I'm letting him go f5 at some point. I have to keep an eye out for that, because that does win a pawn. And I get compensation, but I still feel like I probably shouldn't have allowed this. Maybe I have to go bishop d2 next move. Okay, now he plays it. Okay, knight c3, bishop c5. I mean, this does still kind of work out for me, actually, because I do end up getting the pawn back. So maybe, right before I take and I threaten mate, it's all good. And it looks like he just blundered this, so that makes my life a lot easier. Although after 94, I mean, he would still, I'd still be way, way better there. But yeah, now I mean, I can even just like play this, just put all the pieces in the center, and okay, now I just have this tactic, and I just win material. And I am up a rook. Knight a2 is kind of weird, but I mean, he's lost anyway. Kind of expect him to resign, but for some weird reason, this guy like just plays really fast and just never resigns. Kind of odd, but whatever. King e7 moves rook to g6, but now I'm just going to take all his pawns, just give him nothing. Okay, I could even just sacrifice the exchange back, but just completely kill his king at this point. So rook g7, I can go rook h7, just force the trade of his rook in the worst case. I might even have something better than this as well. Actually, yeah, I do. I have like knight e5 next move, and I just win more material. He doesn't even have a piece left. Yeah, dude just never resigns. Like, just probably angry with himself or something. Just gonna pick off this guy. Oh, look, he actually says cheater in the chat. Yeah, you wish, punk. You wish. Do I play some 1 minute for some variety? You know what? keep the stream somewhat interesting because, yeah, like you probably have like my monotone voice. Like it's so relaxed. I just don't really care. Oh wow, I got this guy like almost as high rated. Okay, I'll just focus. Yeah, I don't think I'm playing this that great, but I'm still quite a bit better, I think. Unless I just blundered something. Like knight g3 is kind of annoying, but he didn't see that. And also I could have just taken this pawn. Yeah, slightly losing control of this position. Yeah, and he has rook f4. He's playing so bad. For some reason he doesn't see it. Oh, he's going for this stupid mate. But okay, at least I'm playing faster than him. Might not be playing very well, but at least I'm playing faster. Okay, rook f2. I want to go king a2 and d3 and try to keep control that way. Yeah, he's kind of wasting a lot of time with his pieces. So I have to be careful not to allow some fluke mate. Yeah, I want to stop bishop c3 sort of ideas. He's still getting it in anyway. Okay, but this is a good anti-pre move by me. Wasn't even intended as an anti-pre move. But yeah, looks like that's how it worked out. Let's go rook c7 and now we mate his king. Go us. And he resigns. Okay, I actually beat it. 900. Wasn't very convincing. I mean, I kind of misplayed a lot of those moves, as you can see, but I ended up winning it. I was just a lot faster than him. That's often all it takes in the ball is like if you're able to, let's say, play well enough that that you're like not just lost and you play a lot faster. That's often enough to win. Oh, I should have taken the bishop. Oh, well, I just hack his king. Who cares? Now he hacks my king. Great. Pawn is such a nuisance. Like, now I'm just in a really bad spot. To go like c4. Actually, did he just blunder a piece? He has bishop c3 after cd5, though. Okay, I just didn't even see this was legal. But I am winning a pawn, so that's good. Queen c2 ideas. I could have gone queen c2 first, actually. Maybe that was a better order. Because there's more mate trees get traded. The pawn a3 is actually very annoying for me. So b5, yeah, I'm going to go h5, h6, just open up his king. Because it's basically an attacking race at this point. Let's go g5, just force him open. Let's go e5, I mean, at least that's somewhat of a concession. I just have queen e4, and yeah, you can try to make, but he just resigns. Okay. In spite of completely screwing up the opening, I somehow managed to win this 1 minute game. Let's go back to 3 minute. Also, I think I mentioned before, like, also, do we actually have any shares? I don't think anybody, okay, we had 1 share. Probably that's why when we had, like, the spike of viewers, like, of 5 people watching, but anyway. Let's go c5. Like, transposing to Sicilian tends to work well if they don't put the pawn on d4 as a little tip for playing these positions. This e6 knight 7 up is nice because you keep this diagonal open for the bishop, which kind of helps support like b5, b4 later. But yeah, I played this guy before. You can kind of see he's playing the same way, even though it's really not that great. Now I'm going to actually switch back to d5. I kind of changed my mind after f4 because now I can, you know, try to jump something into some squares like e3 becomes a weakness. Which is why I decided to take, because now I have ideas like hitting this guy, hitting this guy. So the top ones in the center actually give me a lot of space and are really good for me here. Should be 2. Let's go knight f5. And rook c8 or something. Because queen e2 I go knight g3. But now he allows knight e3 and I just win in exchange. The knight is so good there's even a part of me that's tempted like not to take and just play like rook c8 first. And then maybe take after rook c1 because I don't see what else I do. But yeah, like now even though he saves the exchange, he actually loses 2 pawns. Which is probably even worse for him in fact. Rook e3 I just take the queen and I'm still way up in material there. So yeah, he blunders the queen now to top it all off. I expect him to resign at this point. A new opponent. Okay, I get this guy again. Yeah, he always plays this system for some reason, but okay, maybe I can go for the Nakamura sub of h5. No, he does quite well with this for some reason. And okay, I guess when you get an e5 quickly like this is a good sign. Can definitely open up his king quite a bit. Let's go d4. Just play very ambitiously. Maybe bishop f5, try to go some doubling of his pawns. So knight f2, I mean, it's very passive. My whole way my opponent's playing this is very passive, and although I've allowed him to take b7, but I guess it's not that big a deal. I just go rook b8 and get the pawn back anyway. Okay, I'm not going to fall for that cheapo. I do feel like I probably could have maybe played this a little more convincingly, but my position is still, I think, pretty good here. Like knight e4, c5, and all my pieces do kind of make sense at this point. I nearly blundered my bishop, so I have to go... but now I lose the pawn. What the hell am I doing this game? What the fuck am I doing? Okay, bishop e4 is kind of weird, though. I'd voluntarily trade off his bishop like that. He goes king h2. Let's just put everything in the center. Because if takes, yeah, I was thinking he might go knight e4, but he ends up getting it in anyway. But then for some reason decides not to play it. Okay, if I go b6, just force the bishop to some dumb square. Maybe I go queen d5 and attack his pawn or something. Because if I can sort of stop him consolidating, then maybe I can get some kind of compensation. Like knight e5 is an idea, but maybe I want to go queen d5 first. But knight e5, like if he has to go knight h1, stop knight f3, that's kind of annoying. But I think if he plays like king g2, I don't know what the follow-up is. Oh, I could go knight c4. Yeah, let's go knight e5. It just feels right. And hope... oh, he has knight g4, but then I take a check. It's fine. I get the pawn back there as well. So, yeah, I think he'll go king g2, and knight c4 is suddenly actually a big problem. So, yeah, maybe he has to give back the pawn like this, but that already kind of indicates the way I get the pawn back, and I go f5, and his structure might look a little bit healthier, but his pawns are nearly all on these dark squares, and that means that my bishop is kind of better than his, along with the fact his bishop is very much sidelined at the moment. d5 and just b5, I just make it really hard for him to get in the move d4 at this point. So let's go rook e3, let's attack. I can even go rook h. Okay, so he's defending this way because he wants to go bishop d6, but it actually doesn't really work for him. I just take on c3 and I'm still winning a pawn there. Though his d pawn is actually quite dangerous. I have to be kind of careful at this point. So the question is, how do I want to block it? Maybe king e6 and king d7? Oh, he's giving me g5 actually. That's kind of a useful move because I can even go at f4 and just try to mate his king at this point. But I feel like it might be safer to block with the king first and then kind of keep this f4 move in reserve now that I've dealt with his counterplay. I think that my attack is more effective if he doesn't really have a plan of his own. And, well, now I think this might be a better version for me, actually. I like rook f3, g3, like rook f3, and, it feels like this has got to be very good, but actually I might have just blundered the pawn back because he can defend it with the x-ray. Okay, now it sort of works, I think. But yeah, he always has like this stupid rook f2, so I've kind of thrown the win here, I think. But he doesn't see it. That's kind of lucky for me. But yeah, he wants to go rook c7 and win my bishop. That's his idea, but the thing is, like, I don't think it really does that much for him. Like, if I play bishop d4, for example, I mean, he can get the pawn back. Actually, no, he can't because I'm hitting this guy. So, yeah, I think that with rook f2 or even rook e3, like g3, this kind of thing, I think that this should be pretty good for me if I play my cards right. Like, but I have to be careful I'm not letting his pawn queen somehow. Maybe if I play bishop, but then he gets his bloody pawn back. Okay, let's go rook f2, and then bishop b6, and that kind of stops the pawn queening at least. And yeah, I let him get his pawn back, but he gets this guy as well. Man, what am I doing? Like, I've been winning a billion times this game, and I just keep throwing it away. Just so sad. Okay, so now what the hell do I... okay, maybe I can take... what if I go bishop... I think it goes d6. Okay, let's play... and then play bishop here. I can still probably win this if I get to a pawn ending, but I don't think he's going to let me get there. He just plays like bishop e3, and like, what do I do? I could play bishop h2 or something, but then he just goes king f5 maybe. Okay, that's still probably... let's go a6 first. I want to make sure my pawn is safe, but I'm playing so slowly today and playing so badly as well. So slow and too bad. Yeah, it's really annoying. I mean, outside pass pawns, I can definitely still try to press a bit. Like, if I can get my king around this way, maybe that gives me some chances. But the fact his pawns are on these light squares makes it really hard for me to realistically make anything of this position. Like, my only hope really is to... okay, after this, I think I'm winning. Because I go g3 and king e5, and I think I just win his pawn, right? Oh no, he makes it back in time. What am I saying? Yeah, and everyone gets traded. Man, that is so bad. I was winning this so many freaking different ways, and I only draw. I guess the fact I'm busting out of the toilet doesn't help either, but man, winning so many times, I only... What the hell am I doing playing? What the hell am I doing? Okay, I think, you know, I'm probably going to finish the stream because, like, yeah, I'm busting go, and I also have a new, I have a coaching call, like, pretty soon, like, in the next 10 minutes, so that's about all from me. Also, on YouTube, I kind of forgot to say this intro, but do make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching the replay of this, you can still, like, donate stars, like, while the replay's on. I probably should have mentioned this at the start, but better late than never, I guess. So, yeah, thanks for following the stream, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Get out of here.